Welcome to Reddit stories from our /Maliciouscompliance. Today we have 3 amazing stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Subscribe for more daily content. This story is titled Student Made Demands Regarding a Project and Found Out the Hard Way, posted by you/Tubist61. One of the degree modules I teach involves students working on a group programming project. Nothing too elaborate, but the aim of the module is to develop skills they will need if they go on to work in the IT field. After all, if you're doing a computer science degree, you must be thinking of going down that route. This one student is an absolute entitled nightmare. He uses Genai for a lot of his work and it really does show. He always pushed back on the written remarks on his work, but every time I sit him down and ask him to explain the code he produces, he struggles and often has no idea how the code he submitted works. In this project he came up and told me he cannot work with others in the group and must work alone. I explained that there are specific group activities and efforts I would be marking and that I needed to see his input within the group. There was no way I could excuse him from the group activities in the module, however I could see he was not going to budge and therefore complied with his demand to work on the project alone. All the students in my class had been assigned to their groups, and I did check in with all of them on a weekly basis. This one guy was steadfastly refusing to work with the rest of his group, and as I had complied with his request, he was working on his own project alone. In my interim feedback at the end of each stage, I repeated that he really should work with the group, or he risked a failing mark for the module. I made sure this feedback was sent to him both in hard copy and also via email with read receipts, which I kept. Cue the end of the module and the submission for marking. Sure enough, the one student submitted a project based just on his own work and had not engaged with the group he was asked to work with. There were several issues with his project. First, and most important, was it didn't meet the brief. The code simply didn't do what we asked for. He lost marks for that aspect of the project, as he had not worked with others in the group. He was not awarded any of the group marks allocated for the work. Because his code was so far away from the specification, I called him in for a viva voce to explain the code, and he demonstrated a complete lack of understanding of the code he submitted. More marks dropped. His eventual mark for this assignment was a hard fail. He must now resit the entire module. There is of course one real downside of this whole thing that affects me. I've got him in my group again for the resit of the module. This story is titled Rude Client Wasted Almost 1 Hour to Hear Same Info I Told Her Already from Different Employee, posted by you/IWantShortnick. My first post here, not sure if it better fits here or at Repetitivenge, but anyways. Some years ago I worked at bank office, not in the US. I was mediocre at sales, but good at service and processes, conditions, pricings, etc., so I was put at administrator position, not a manager one. My job was to meet incoming clients and help them to solve their problem by helping them with the ATM or mobile app, or by navigating them to the right specialist via electronic queue, etc. So, there was this woman, let's call her customer. She came to the office and asked for money withdrawal. I recommended her to use ATM, and she told me she already used it, but can withdraw more due to daily limit. I asked how much she wanted to withdraw. It was 600,000 of our local currency, and replied that due to bank policy to withdraw that amount of money via cashier she need to order it in 5 days, for safety reasons. And only amount we can give her today is 150,000 without fee and 300,000 more with 5% fee, but she can use ATM tomorrow and withdraw all needed amount with no fees, because daily limit will refresh. She wasn't happy, and I can understand this, but then she started being rude and unreasonable. Customer, I need to talk with more experienced employee. What do you mean I can't withdraw my money? It's a bank. Me, they will tell you the same. It's a bank policy. Fastest and cheapest way for you to withdraw needed amount is to use ATM next day, technically after midnight, if it's somehow urgent. Customer, no. I don't want to talk with you. You are some newbie. Just give me queue number, and I'll talk with proper bank worker. Now, worth noting that I was most experienced employee in the office in terms of operational work, including manager. So I giggled inside, but that was her clear will, so I gave her number and moved on. 20 minutes later, yeah. It was busy evening, her number was called to desk. And she started asking same questions from a new girl, worked around 1 month at this point. Let's name this girl Eve. She wasn't familiar enough with everything, so she started casual identification procedure by checking client ID in the UV, searching for client profile in database, sending her SMS code to approve entering profile, etc., so around 5 minutes more were gone. Then, Eve asked what operation Lady want to do and Lady repeated her question. Eve tried to start withdrawal and noticed she can't make more than $450,000 and there is fee. And what do you think? She called me to help. I walked around the desk and asked Eve what happened. Eve, look, customer want to withdraw $600,000. And I can't type more than $450,000 and there is fee. Me, I'm sorry, I can't help here. Client insisted to have more experienced employee to answer his questions. And left back to my workplace. After that there was some banter between customer and poor Eve, trying to explain same stuff while I typed everything to her in work chat. Then, she gave up and offered customer to talk with manager if she's unhappy. She waited 20 more minutes for manager and heard same info I told her 50 minutes ago and Eve repeated 20 minutes ago. Today she can have $150K for free. And $300K more with fees. After midnight she can have $600K with no fees via ATM, and in case of big withdrawals in future she need to order cash in advance. Customer left furiously not looking at me. This story is titled I Couldn't Help Her With That, Oh Rats, posted by you/possibly Appetcast. Years ago I worked for Handerblock's internal tech support. If tax preparers or company offices had issues, they called me. They may know taxes, but those beloved senior citizens know nothing about computers. Little did I know this day would be a special one. I was lucky enough to take a call from a real peach of a lady who was both misinformed how computers worked and belligerently stubborn. She was in a hurry and demanded I reinstall her entire office's server because of some mild tech issues she was having. That's the equivalent of asking a mechanic to rebuild your car's engine to change the oil. This lady was pushy, rude, and unusually cagey when asked for information. The worst part was I couldn't just hang up on her for that. It was weird but not out of the ordinary enough for me to cut her loose, so I dealt with it. She would frequently put me on hold as she was apparently roaming around looking for joy to crush. Long story short, she used to be a franchise office, not a company-owned office. So changing everything back to company software had some hiccups. One of these times I had her on hold for some diagnostics. I overheard a coworker on another call. He was saying things like our records for an office, call history from a specific employee, and other very unusual things. He was on the phone with a district manager, a very big deal. All of a sudden I hear him say, "Sorry, I don't see anything that far back." It was a franchise office. Yeah, you would have to ask the owner's name, the same owner I was on the phone with. I immediately get my coworker's attention and tell him that I'm on the phone with the woman he is talking about. And he fills me in on the most insane story I'd heard on the job. Turns out the owner was living in the office. The district manager was there to inspect the newly required office and make sure it was functional for the upcoming tax season. But the owner refused to let them into certain rooms, including the break room. The DM really wanted to see what was going on in the break room. So we told her the insane coincidence that I was on the phone with the psycho owner, and we coordinated a plan. I told her to go to the server room for some made-up reason. While gone, the DM pried the door to the break room open. Inside was a cot, clothes in a suitcase, food, dishes, and even prescribed medicine in the fridge with the owner's name on it. Oh, and her freaking cat too. Needless to say, not long after the door was opened, the owner had to put me on hold again. And I got the info from my coworker that she admitted to staying in the break room for a few days, but only because her home was infested with rats. Now, keep in mind this whole time I've been yelled at, insulted, and forced to do unnecessary work by this goblin. And now I had my chance to strike back. Once she got back on the phone, I told her to go do a test on her end I knew would fail. When it did, I said, "That didn't work either?" "Oh rats." She audibly gasped, but managed to stammer out whatever demanded she had next. I had her go and try something else I knew wouldn't work. "Did that not work either?" "Oh rats." Her discomfort was obvious. She started to tell me something. I cut her off. Oh, hold on, let me jurist. Nope, not that either, rats. This went on for the next minute or two. She finally told me she would call back when she had some more time to work on the issue, which I had fixed by now. I understand, it sounds like you have a lot going on at the moment. I just wish we could have solved it for you today, rats. Quick. That's all for today's Reddit stories. If you enjoyed these amazing tales, hit like and subscribe for more daily content. What was your favorite story? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.